Don't forget to go onto the Jockey Club website, hkjc.com, for all the information on Hong Kong racing and, of course, this week's edition of HK Direct with Andrew Lejeune and Graham Cunningham, and a special there on Neil Callan. Well worth a look. Let's have a look at the lineup now for our feature race 7. It's Class 2 and it is over the 1600 metres. Harmony Victory will have to carry all the weight here. 133 kilo, but it's an easier opposition for him. Joyful Trinity, the 7-year-old, very capable horse in his earlier career. Classic Beauty, Gorgeous King goes into the race first up. King Opie's had a run. Noble Steed, Fresh. Beauty Spirit second up. Mongolian King likewise. And one of the most interesting runners on the whole day is Star Performance, who was most impressive when he won on debut at 65 to 1. Now, Gorgeous King up and back to Chunfa recently in preparation for our highlight there Saturday afternoon. All right, let's take a look at the speed map to start with here, Tom, and it's a small field and probably it looks to be what will be a slow pace.
Yeah, so a horse like Beauty Spirit, he was able to sit in a nice position last time out. Beauty Spirit just in behind the lead. So there's no real obvious leader in this race, so he's a horse that potentially can sit forward. King Opie's another one that is interesting here because he potentially has got the gate of barrier number 2 to sit forward, so he's nicely down there. Classic Beauty, he was able to lead in the 2,000 metre race, but can't see him possibly leading here. And Star Performance, the interesting horse in the race, he was a horse that settled a little bit further back in his first up run down on the fence, but he might be able to sit closer to them this time out over the 1,600 metres.
All right, so a slow tempo does look the most possible outcome, you would think. Paul, who's been working well in the morning?
Well, the first we're going to have a look at is Harmony Victory, the toppy. He's just working here with Smart of Youth, which is the one on the inside. Harmony Victory is the one in the red cap, and he goes nicely. He looks well prepared. He's got to carry the big weight. He's not the biggest horse, but Danny Shum, we know his horses are going really well at the moment. Noble Steed, now he's had plenty of work leading into this and has had looked good on ability last season. Been a bit unlucky in a few of his runs as well, but look, he looks good and he's going nicely. No issues with him. And the other one is Mongolian King. Now, he's had a run fresh up. He's getting on in age now as a 7-year-old, but his fresh up run wasn't too bad. Got back and hit the line strongly there for 4th behind Gold Chest. His work's been good.
All right, let's start at the top. This horse, Harmony Victory, 10 points higher than any other horse in this race. So he's got to carry all the weight, as we've mentioned, but he has class on his side. He came deep at the end of last season to defeat Time to Celebrate, who's there to his left on the inside. But that was a few months ago now. It
was an excellent performance from him. Class 1 company over the 1,600 metres with a lightish weight. So he's got a lot more weight to carry here. He's got 10 pounds more than quite a few of the others in this field. But I thought it was a really strong win. The way he chimed in, really attacked the line. He's had that one recent trial on a wet all-weather surface. He was out the back in that. Just a very quiet maintenance trial for him.
Go on.
I think Danny's got him tuned up well.
Can he reel off a sectional like that with 20 pound extra to carry, Paul?
Well, he was a group winner in Brazil before he got here, so he did have that good form overseas. He took a little while to acclimatise. He went for the Derby, didn't he? And he's come out, and that was his last run. So he keeps improving, so yeah, I think he can. All right, let's move forward and have a look at a couple of the other opposition in the race. 3 to take a look at here. They are Beauty Spirit, firstly, who is situated down there on the rail. Mongolian King was out wide, and so too was King Opie, who potentially might struggle, I think, with the distance in this race, but time will tell.
He stayed on all right. I thought Beauty Spirit, he's one of the examples in this race that could potentially be pace influence. Keep an eye on Mongolian King because he wound up nicely over the concluding stages. He was carrying the 119 on that occasion. He's got 116 to carry here. Paul mentioned he's getting on in age, but it was a nice way he finished off this race, did Mongolian King. And King Opie here, second up. He hasn't performed second up in the past, but he ran on a little bit late in the piece.
Yeah, I think a lot of Frankie Law's runners have sort of taken a little bit of time, haven't they, to come through, and I think he's one of them. He's bred for the 1600. He's by Ocean Park, and he did run 3rd behind Red Warrior last season over it. So, look, I've got him in on a minor line, King Opie.
I think looking at that speed map, Beauty Spirit might be able to find the front and up a little bit in trip, potentially get into a bit of a rhythm and run a really nice race. Now, Star Performance, there he is down there in the General Sherman colours. What an impression he made on debut. Can he go back to back?
He got all things, I think, to go his way this time round. He had gate number 1, gate number 3, sorry, so he had a low draw. He got a nice run into the race. He was able to get through between runners and dash through late. He was niggled a little bit throughout down the side. He's got the hood on this time because Tony Cruiser said he gets worked up in track work and on race day, and he feels he's settled better with the hood. So the stewards gave him permission to use that, but he fought tooth and nail to win that.
He did. He obviously showed a bit. There's probably only about 2 lengths over the whole field there, wasn't there? But he did beat some nice horses and did win nicely. So I found a spot for him.
Yeah, at the 100, he was going to probably run 5th, wasn't he? It was a good performance. This horse we're going to focus on now has trialled nicely going into this race. A good quality animal in his day, Noble Steed. This race, I don't think, is beyond him by any stretch of the imagination. Definitely one to consider.
Yeah, his body weight looks good too. He hasn't put on too much weight over the summer. He's got barren 9, so he'll get back a little bit. He has found trouble in some of his runs, but look, he's only had one go over the 1600 here at Sha Tin. He did run nicely enough as well, being placed, and look, I've got him in as well. I think he'll run well.
Vincent Ho rode him in this trial, but Vincent has opted to ride Joyful Trinity here, who's off a long break, injury break for Casper Fownes. So I don't know if we can read anything into that or not.
Yeah, it's a fair point you make. Right, got that button right there. We now move to the selections, and firstly, Paul Lally. This is a small field, potentially slow tempo and handicap situation, so potentially a tricky one to tip.
Yeah, it can be these smaller fields, but I think class can prevail here, and I've got Harmony Victory on top. He just really came into his own at the back end of last season. Noble Steed, King Opie and Star Performance in the minor line, 1, 6, 5 and 9.
I'm going to go with the 9 here, Star Performance. He's short in the market, a lot shorter than what he was first up when he paid big money, 65 to 1. So I'll take him with Harmony Victory, the top weight, 5 King Opie, and I'll throw in Mongolian King because he's normally pretty honest. So 9, 1, 5 and 8, but Star Performance on top.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting race, and maybe tactics may be the key to the result. I'm going to go with Beauty Spirit. I think he might go to the front and to give them something to chase down. So it's a good race, our 7th. We've got races 8, 9, 10 to look at, I should say, and we'll do that right after this commercial break.